All right, all right. Let's
Smooth
get in.
98.1 Love Music, Love Life. You're most welcome to today's edition of Business Express 981. Joining me this morning is Rotus. Morning, Rotus. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, Aya. Good morning to you. Good morning to all of Lagos and beyond. Hope everybody is dry from
Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Have to get into that for sure.
Absolutely. Well, today on the show, you can join us live on YouTube or streaming live on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. You can also send us your WhatsApp message to this number 0809 4440981. We'd love for you to be a part of the conversation. Today, we'll be looking at telco sector used $10 billion in foreign exchange over 5 years. As well as other stories. Hopefully we have enough time. Rotus, take it away.
Yeah, real quick. So the Nigerian Communications Commission put out a document called the National Policy for the Promotion of Indigenous Content in the Nigerian telco sector. And according to data that they got from the Association of Telecommunications Companies of Nigeria, the telco sector has seen an outflow of about $10 billion over the last 5 years. So they did a breakdown based on the financials, I guess, from some of the telecommunications companies. When I say outflow, that is what the sector operation the sector needs and what it has to spend on those operations in order to keep going. We are on Zoom right now. We are using facilities provided by the telco sector in order to also communicate, for you and I to communicate. Everything, pick up your phone, pretty much this is, it's facilitated by the telco sector. So capital expenditure, they said about $750 million over the last, this is the breakdown now, $750 million over the last years. Network software licensing, $250 million. What else? Managed services, $157 million, miscellaneous services, $250 million. There's another category here that's about 810. But when you add it all up together, it comes to about $10.5 billion. The chairman of the Association of Licensed Telco Companies, Sagbengba Adebayo, said that the telecommunications sector is completely FX dependent, completely. And, he said that, look, as long as it's completely FX dependent, there will continue to be this need. Well, think about it. And it comes back to this. What do we make or manufacture here that the telecommunications sector can use in order to bring down its reliance on foreign exchange? That's what has to happen. Base stations, licensing fees for software, all those components that make up what the telecommunications sector needs in order to operate, all have to be imported. And here's something that the chairman of the Foundation for Economic Research and Training said, Professor Akpan Ekpo. He said, look, we've celebrated the telco sector a lot. I always celebrate the telco sector. Whenever I talk about homes in Nigeria, I go back to the Passenger administration. I go back to him, selling off Nitel, selling licenses to the telco companies, and then pretty much being that those reforms being necessary for us to be able to provide jobs for people at call centers. When you go to the different companies that sell phone accessories, you just think about the explosion of the ecosystem. That has all led to the reforms. But what Professor Akpan Ekpo has said is that, hey, put this in context. Yeah, we're celebrating what was GDP for ICE for telecommunications? I think it was 7.4% in Q1. It was 14% in Q4. He's like, you need to balance this out. Yes, GDP growth for the sector is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, creator. But what about the outflow of FX? All this is coming at the expense of all this outflow of foreign exchange, which is putting pressure on the central bank and its reserves. So there you have it. It's something that has to be banned. The answer, of course, the point of all this is that Nigeria needs to manufacture telecommunications equipment. But boy, George, in order to get there.
Mm-hmm. How many years do you project, Rotus, realistically, in terms of, because like you're saying, obviously the solution to this is for us to start producing locally. Can we even start from somewhere? In terms of the small parts, we're not even doing the major manufacturing. Are there some areas, and how long do you think we'd be able to achieve this?
Yeah, it's going to take years. So I'm looking at maybe a decade or more, because we're talking about a heavy duty equipment here. The base stations, you're talking about a lot of equipment. You need power in order to get these things to work. And so if you need that much power to get them to work, think about how much power you would need to make them, right? Yeah. And the capacity or manufacturing capacity. So that's a long, I mean, look, last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, we're talking about leather shoes. I mean, being able to make leather equipment that you can export. The NESG, Nigerian Economic Summit Group, said that, what did they say? We do $1 billion by 2025. That's a projection. We're not even, I mean, the ABBA folks are doing what they can, but we're not even there yet. Textiles and so on. So if you're not even where you need to be for shoes and bags and belts, you know, then how are you going to get to a level of manufacturing telecommunications equipment? For software, that's a long. So look, if you can't manufacture, if you can't do that in the meantime, sell something else, right? You can't depend on oil forever. Sell something else. I was watching there some, look, I encourage our listeners there, please go on YouTube. What's the name of this thing? I think it's Alt Economics, ALT Economics. Look up this YouTube page. It is beautiful. Go through the economies of different countries around the world. All weekend, I was watching how the economy of Singapore, Philippines, Malaysia, how they came up, right? Yeah. You know, Singapore has no natural resources. Zero. Singapore has zero natural resources. Yet in 2019, Singapore brought in more FDI than every other country minus the United States and China. There are about 5 million people in Singapore. Small country. I think that's where Samsung comes from also. I was using Korea. Samsung either comes from Korea, South Korea, or Singapore. But they're South Korea. They built, Samsung is South Korea, but you have a base in Singapore. Singapore brought in more FDI than Japan, more FDI than India. This is a tiny country. They are sovereign wealth fund. How did they do it? They built up their manufacturing sector. They emphasized education and human capital. Yeah. And they did this in what, 40 years? So there's work to be done. And if smaller, tiny countries that you can fit inside of Balinde or something, if they can do that, then you need to be able to step up as well.
All right. Well, I'm trying to see if we have any comments from here, but we don't. But like you mentioned,
good, let's get to this rain. Let's get to the rain real quick.
We need a full. We can actually talk about the rain full and its impact on businesses in Nigeria. We can talk about a full show.
The NHSA, the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, said yesterday that the floods we saw on Friday is nothing compared to what we're going to see in September, when we get peak rainy season, right? That's what they said. They said they've been, no new holding dam has been constructed across the River Niger in Nigeria. And the cost of the Lago Dam in Cameroon to mitigate the impact of flood is an issue, right? So Cameroon apparently has been advising Nigeria to build holding dams across River Niger, and the course of the Lago Dam, that's the Lagdo Dam, which it borders with Cameroon, in order to reduce this issue of what we see of flooding. You saw what happened in Germany, Belgium. That one, the rains were so much, they overcame the dams. How can we be calling ourselves a mega city, right? And yet heavy rain shuts us down, right? Look at I was stuck at the office for about 6 hours. Many businesses were flooded. Logistics people couldn't move around. There was terrible traffic. I mean, you saw the pictures and the images and so on.
I was on the road. I experienced it firsthand.
You were on the road?
Yes, I was. Lekki was something else. It was in an SUV and was swimming in Lekki Phase 1.
You're lucky you're in an SUV. But anyway, mechanics for the guys at Ladipo, the artisans that do the mechanics, vulcanizers. I'm sure they made it this weekend, and in fact there'll be more because a lot of vehicles got destroyed. A lot of people calling mechanics to fix. So they made some money, but we got to do something because at least they've warned us now. So I said September is going to be pretty bad. So, but can you build a dam between?
I was going to say realistically, Rotus, what can be done between now and September? We keep, you know what the frustrating thing about this is that every year we keep talking about this. So literally between one rainy season and the other, we have enough, well, at least some time to put some measures in place. But we come back with the same complaints and the same rhetoric the same year, year in, year out. And that's something that's really horrible.
There's a video I've sent you, yeah. It's on a wall road. Yeah. Someone commented on the video and they actually dropped an expletive because they were so frustrated. Yeah. How can the drainage on a wall road be higher than the road itself? I mean, I was filming flooding, and if you see the footage, you will actually see that drainage where on the side of a wall road is higher than the road where the cars pass. So look, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of town planning. I hear of course, the mainland doesn't really have this problem. And look, Lekki, if things aren't done well, Lekki in, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years, all that stuff they've done at the beach, I think the water is going to come and claim what
dredging.
Yeah, what it belongs to it, you know. So we'll have to watch out for that because Lekki right now, I think, is sitting on some very soft patches, which then there's the climate change thing. I don't know those who, whether or not you believe or don't believe in climate change, it's the science is there. As the climate continues to warm, you get more moisture in the atmosphere and it gives way to a lot more torrential rain. So, I don't know how serious Nigeria is about that, but
all right, let's take a few comments.
Between now and September.
Yeah. All right. So on YouTube, Hog Robinson had actually said we already manufacture cables locally. So talking about the telco industry and what we can manufacture. So he's saying that we do cables locally. And then Benga Kamu says, good morning. What do you think of CBN's decision to allow only Dangote, Bua, and Golden import sugar into Nigeria? Is there any backward integration taking place? And then, of course, I knew. Go on. Okay, respond to that, and then I'll go on.
Yeah, very quickly. Yeah, there's no surprise. The thing is that they were the only three that were doing it anyway. There was Boa, it was flour mills, it was Dangote Sugar that were involved in the backward integration program. Remember, there was a back and forth between Alhaji Rabiu and Alhaji Dangote. They've been having this rivalry from cents to sugar, everything. They had this back and forth not too long ago about the backward integration program. So it's been the three of them all this time.
I thought Basita Sugar, I don't think, was it only just three of them? A few other indigenous organizations.
Those are the major ones that are in the backward integration program with the capacity to be able to, but there's still a ways to. Those are the three big guys in the sector.
All right, okay, thanks. We have from Frank saying, will the flooding get to Lagos? If you're in Lagos and don't know how to swim on your own, swimming is a survival skill in Lagos. Ladile says, we the citizens, need to stop dumping refuse irresponsibly. All of us need to work together.
That is an excellent point.
Excellent point. Michael Oyewa on YouTube says, please, okay, so he wants to know the name of the website you mentioned for economies of the world.
It's Alt Economics. I think that's what it is. Let me quickly
do a quick search.
If I don't find it, I will send it as a message to the Smooth FM page. Right. But I think I think I got it. Wait. No, Economics Alt Simplified. Sorry. Economics Simplified. That's ALT Simplified is one word. So Economics Alt Simplified. That's it. Right. That's the
Economics Alt Simplified.
India, Bangladesh, Poland, Germany, Malaysia, every country They haven't done Nigeria yet because we haven't. We're not there, but it's a very, very, yeah.
Ogenochuko from AJ says the Japanese economy grew because they have a sound financial system. The banks gave loans to producers of innovation. Those electronics equipment came as a result of real banking policy. And that's all we can
Japan
take.
Japan is hosting the Olympics.
Yeah.
That tells you what you need to know.
All right, thank you very much, Rotus. You can find Rotus on YouTube, well, on Instagram at Rotan Quote. We have to look for the social media.
I'm on Twitter, Joe.
All right, and then please follow us on all social media platforms at Smooth981. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Smooth981 FM Lagos, so you can get a notification when we go online, and you can participate by sending your message through that platform. Thank you very much, Rotus, for today, and thanks to everyone who contributed to the conversation. We continue with the Smooth Breakfast Show, and we bring you freshly pressed 981 at 7:30. A detailed analysis of today's national news headline stories. Do stay tuned. Enjoy some smooth music before then.
What's up? This is Oddiri. Stay tuned. Stay locked.